This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
I've been waiting for Celebration all year long.
Are you ready to celebrate?
California. I love LA. We love it. Celebrate good times. Come on. Let's celebrate.
Oh, and guess what? This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Joining us today for a cup of coffee as we continue our Road to Celebration shows are my co-pilots. We're going to say co-pilots for this. That's what Cory and I used to say when we started Coffee with Kenobi. You hear the dulcet tones of his voice, Mr. Cory Clubb.
Hello, I'm excited to be here tonight and talk more Star Wars Celebration.
Yes, it's going to be a blast. And you know why? Not only do we have our co-pilot, Cory Clubb, but we've also got our other co-pilot in our little tricycle of fun, Mr. Tom Gross.
Sorry, was not expecting the tricycle of fun.
Wheel?
Hello.
Who's the big wheel and the little wheels? That's what I know.
We alternate depending on the topic
fair.
or the mood.
I like that. Okay.
Things like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it's great to be here. I also am happy to be on the road. We are a little bit closer. We've passed the mile marker, and we are 3 weeks away.
3 weeks away. I not only do I love recording these shows and planning them and listening to them, but I love the reactions. Thanks to everybody. I think for many of you listening, this is a part of your celebration tradition. So we are honored to be a part of that. We've got some fun things to talk about tonight. And by the way, before we even kick off anything, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you, everyone. This is normally these shows come out on Thursdays, but we had to release a show for May the 4th. Guys, I'm going to give you a history of May the 4th, but what does that mean to each of you?
Oh boy. It's funny because for the longest time I didn't really put those 2 and 2 together. Does that make sense? 2 and 2 makes 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's math involved, probably.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
No, no, but I just didn't really quote celebrate it. It wasn't really a thing. I know my fandom runs back into the '90s, so it wasn't really a celebrity thing within fandom, right? So it's kind of like at the impetus of the the internet and fandom kind of evolving into the technology. I think that it was. Community had grown, and I think that's kind of like how it was kind of perceived. It was like from the fans, I think it was, kind of wink and a nudge and like a ha-ha moment, and it's almost kind of like just a funny thing to say or something fun to say within the community. And yet it's grown. It really has, and now it's almost everywhere. I actually have people were telling me yesterday that hey, tomorrow's May the 4th. Are you excited? It's just like everybody's gearing up for it. I think everybody's preparing. Waiting for fun things to happen, have some fun antics. I know at work I had a meeting. I wore my Mandalorian helmet during a meeting for fun, just for a few moments. Just I don't know, just feel like we're part of the celebration and part of the excitement and the community. So I like doing that kind of stuff and seeing who perks up and kind of says, "Oh, hey, I know that," or chimes in with a fun comment. So definitely for me, it's been gradual, but now it's just. I think it's part of kind of the whole part of pop culture, really. It's growing that big.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom, what about you?
Yeah, I like how it has become kind of a holiday. That is fun. And I don't know. I have no idea where it came from. It just sort of started one day. I turned around and people were saying, "Hey, you're a Star Wars fan. May the 4th be with you." But what I like that you were saying, Cory, is that people who aren't even Star Wars fans, this resonates with them because it's kind of like our day. It's kind of like people call it the Star Wars Day or May the 4th Day, and so I started over COVID on May the 4th. I bought our family Legos. And we built those Legos. I bought a land speeder Lego. and I bought the ATST from the Mandalorian
Oh yeah.
Lego set, and we put those together over COVID. I don't know that that's a tradition that will continue, but it was fun while we were at home and spending that day in that way. But I just like that, like you say, Corey. I just love how everybody is kind of aware of it, and it started with that wink and I see what you did there kind of thing. And then at work, I generally, so being at a school, I wear a different Star Wars T-shirt every hour, every class hour of the day. So I still haven't picked out my my shirts for next year, but it was fun. You know, you have to plan ahead when you do things like that. But
Sure.
you know, there'll probably be some celebration shirts in there for next year. But this year it was a lot of fun pulling shirts out and getting that all set and ready to go. So anyway, May the 4th be with you, everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, this is fun. You know, I actually have a little bit of history about how this little holiday started, but I honestly feel like for years now, I think especially as I become a teacher and of course because of Coffee with Kenobi, it has put on a special kind of a different meaning for me. It actually does feel like the Super Bowl to me, like a holiday. I wake up in a giddy mood, even more than usual. 2 years ago, I actually bought a cake that said, "May the 4th be with you." So, and Mason has an egg allergy, so it was one that he could have, like, so we could celebrate together.
Cool.
Sometimes I'll get the old Betamax out and watch Star Wars. You know, something like that, in which, because that's really one of the original ways that I fell in love with it. Usually I do some fun things for the show. At the time of this recording, you will know that I've already seen my interview for Newsy and seen my article on StarWars.com. So I do a lot of fun things like that. And this one's extra special because we're super close to Celebration. So it's a busy month. It's a busy month for Star Wars fans. In a little over a week will be the 9th anniversary of Coffee with Kenobi starting. And Star Wars just reminds me of this wonderful community and the memories, and I love it. Anytime I can celebrate it, I'm going to. And I think there's an article on StarWars.com written by Lucas Seastrom, and there's some great stuff here. I'm going to share a couple of things from the article. He says the earliest use of the phrase "May the 4th be with you" that we have evidence of is from 1978, 1 year after the release of Star Wars. By then, American popular culture, for us in popular culture, Professor Leo Brady would say it's like a handshake, Star Wars and popular culture. That summer in 78, clever newspaper writers used the phrase as a gimmick to mark Independence Day celebrations on the 4th of July. May the 4th be with you, as heard in A New Hope, had been appearing on licensed and unlicensed buttons, posters, and various items for months, convincing those writers that these jokes would be well received by their readers. But here's the big one. On May 4th, 1979, the first known instance of May the 4th be with you was used to mark the earlier date that took place, and it was said by Britain's new Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, happened to be assuming office that day. And another clever, well, I don't know if she said it, but that's when it's associated. She happened to be assume office that day, and another clever newspaper writer for the London Evening News declared in a full-page ad, "May the 4th be with you, Maggie. Congratulations." Pretty neat, huh? There's a lesser-known instance came from Lucasfilm in 1982. Randy Thom, Thom, who today is the director of sound design at Skywalker Sound and has been with the company for over 40 years, worked on location sound recordist on Revenge of the Sith. As he was getting things ready on the set, he recalled thinking of the pun on his own, and he said, "May the 4th be with you," because they were actually filming on Endor on May the 4th, 1982.
Awesome.
Then, in ensuing years, evidence of the phrase in public or private is a little bit hazy, but then in 2005, when Revenge of the Sith came out, there was a unique poster that said, "May the 4th be with you," to promote people going to see Revenge of the Sith. And it was later actually a poster sold on StarWars.com. So it's kind of been there. And then, of course, Disney purchased Lucasfilm, and then we got more merchandise and things to celebrate May the 4th as well. So absolutely fun and fabulous. And there's going to be a ton of merchandise for sure, you can bet. at the time of this recording, if you hear an extra smile in my voice, I'm hoping it's because I found the Ahsoka Tano Legacy lightsabers that are in the special box that I showed up on Shop Disney today. Hoping, I'm recording this the night before, but hopefully the Force is with me and I grab that baby.
Yeah.
Or babies. There are 2 lightsabers. Thank you.
So yeah, let's think about that. I mean, there's always been kind of like exclusive things going around. I like the fact that not only does Lucasfilm get in on the fun of it and put out some exclusive stuff, Disney does, of course, officially licensed stuff, but so do a lot of creators, a lot of online enthusiasts and crafters will come out and do something special for the day as well. So I think that's really cool too, because it's celebrated all across, multiple different places and medias and mediums. So I think that's really cool that it doesn't just limited to a specific group of people, but everybody kind of comes together with their craft and shows off what they've got going on. I think that's really cool, just in celebration and in fandom. So cool stuff.
Absolutely. Indeed. It's fun. So please let us know how you are celebrating May the 4th. Undoubtedly, you've been posting a lot of great things in the CWK Cafe. We mentioned celebration. It's the road to celebration. Let's talk celebration. We're going to look at the art that is going to be featured. The Celebration Anaheim art show has been revealed. And here's how it works. The pre-orders were going to go live at darkinkart.com on May the 2nd at 12 p.m. Pacific time and run through May 16th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. All prints will be limited to 250 pieces, with 200 available for pre-order and pickup at the art show and 50 reserved for sale at Celebration. Stars.com is where you can go to look at the prints of all these amazing artists. The first one we have is Reflective Power by Al Abazia. We have Heart of the Rebellion by a friend of the show, Steve Anderson. We have Tensions in Mospelga by Jonathan Beastline, Beistline. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing your names. Max Rebo Live by Kate Carlton. Other friend of the show, Jason W. Christman, A New Hope Death Star. We've got Punch It Chewy by Joe Caroni. He's been on the show before. The Sun and Moon by Kaylee Croft. A Night with the Max Rebo Band by Asia Ellington. Victory and Death by Danny Haas. I'm Not In For You, Princess by Karen Hallion. A Grand Army by Joe Hogan. Date Night at Black Spire Outpost by Brian Miller. In a Galaxy Far, Far Away by Alex Mines. The Senator's Wardrobe by Dawn Murphy. Legacy in the Making by L. Jason Queen. Beacon of Hope by Adam Schickling. A Queen's Light by Lynn Zai Solisto. The Princess Gambit by Chris Trevis. The Gentleman Wastelands by Malcolm Tween. It's pretty cool. Friend by Adriana Vanderstelt. And then finally, One Heart Divided by Senia Zelentsova. Hopefully I got that one right too. So guys, some amazing stuff here. I mean, I'm fully expecting one day to see Cory Clubb on this. That's going to happen someday. Until it happens though, what one's staying out for you? Cory, let's start with you. You are the artist extraordinaire here.
Yeah, these are all fantastic. It is truly, I looked at these the other day when we first dropped on May the 2nd, and they're all fantastic. They all are winners. I mean, I can't come across one of those ones like, oh, that's not really for me, but these are all excellent. I think they do such a good job of picking the artists and the styles, making them all unique, different eras of Star Wars, different timelines, different characters. I feel like there's a lot of Carrie Fisher and Leia presence abound. I feel like there's quite a few that I at least have her in it or feature her. One that stands out to me that I was trying to find it here that I like is from, Punch It Chewy. The one where you've got Han and Chewie in the cockpit there. To me, there's some energy to that. It's really interesting. The lighting is unique. It almost feels like it would like glow in the dark. Even I don't know if it does that or not, but there's definitely some kind of energy going on with this one. And to me, it stands out to me as pretty cool. I mean, it feels like it's feels like it's moving almost right out of the frame. Has that ability to do that. So I think that one's cool. Another one that stands out to me, if I scroll down to the Under the Starlight, I thought that was really unique. What a cool, like 50s style, promotional piece based around the Black Spire Outpost at Disney World, and Batu. I think that's just a cool, unique mashup. I like that way they artists put that kind of spin on things. I think that's fun. I could see that as like a poster and lit up under lights or something. Maybe the last one I'll call out here. Let's see. There was one. Where'd it go? Oh, the last one down here. The Princess Gambit. I like this one because this feels like this is a cutscene from Return of the Jedi, and it feels like this. I could definitely see something like this happening. That maybe Leia's devising her plan to get Han out. It just feels like it's captured a scene from the movie that should have been. And it's really cool, and the expressions are really fantastic. Lando looking at Chewie, kind of saying, "Hey, listen, here's the plan." You just like even without the that snapshot that you can tell there's dialogue. Again, the lighting that comes in, and then you look around at everything else. You see the expressions, but there's all these little small details inside of here, very realistic looking, and just really well done. I think that's really fantastic because to me, they've taken these characters. Sometimes when artists come across Star Wars, and this is not a diss to artists, but how else are you going to get Han Solo holding his blaster other than looking up pictures of Han Solo holding his blaster, right? You can't necessarily morph in stand-in actors necessarily. For the longest time, the novelizations and the books were coming out in the 90s. They used a lot of that kind of like the almost imagery that was very similar. You've seen it before, but it's superimposed into a different layout. It just feels reused. Nothing against the artists, just the way they had to work with. But this one feels really original to me. The fact that you capture the expressions really close to the actors, and I don't feel like it's been reused. I feel like it's wholly original and really well done. So those are my standouts for the group here.
Those are fun. Those are fun. And again, your opinion on this is always going to add a little more weight for me because of your talent as an artiste. And I think
but everybody's got a different opinion. That's the thing.
Artiste. Yeah. No, that's
art
true.
is subjective. So
that is true. That is true. Tom, what are some standouts for you, my friend?
Oh, I agree, Cory. There is not much here that I wouldn't love to have. I wanted to say on the Princess's Gambit, it's reminiscent of a scene from A New Hope, where they're in the Death Star communication room and they're coming up with the plan to get Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Han Solo does the exact same move that Lando's doing there with Chewie, and Chewie bristles and hollers, and that's kind of what I'm starting to hear when I look at that. And I love it when a piece of art can bring out senses. I can hear it. I can almost smell what the Falcon looks like there with Chewie and Lando, and they're all like in planning and like in this desperate moment. So, and look, she's got the bounty hunter. What's his name? The helmet. What's the bounty hunter that she portrays when she goes
Boosh.
to Jabba's?
Boosh.
That's it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Bosk, but I knew that was Boosh. She's got Boosh helmet sitting there already. So this plan is pretty well developed. But yeah, the final touches. So some that really stand out for me. This one, in fact, on the website, it's right above the Princess's Gambit. It's A Queen's Light. I think this one really stands out to me because I am currently reading the E.K. Johnston third book of her trilogy of Padme. And I just really like this. Of course, having daughters in the house, fashion, hair, everything are on constant discussion around here. And so Padme has really stood out in my mind. Just looking at this one, I love the coloring on it. It's a beautiful piece with all of her different costumes there. And then how up in the upper right, there she is, the warrior as well. Besides just a princess and a senator, she's a warrior as well. So that's cool. And then there's Naboo sort of in the center lower part of the picture. It's really nice. Another one that really jumped out at me when I did a first look at this was I don't know how much I would enjoy this one, but I know a lot of kids that would love this, A Grand Army. I'm pretty sure I've got some students who could probably name most of these. There's 40 clone troopers here, maybe more. And I know some that can go through this list and be like, oh, that's that. I mean, I can get the key ones, but they can catch a lot of those. I just think it's cool. Kind of reminds me of old. It's a style of poster from. I remember them as a kid, where I'm trying to remember what was always on there. Were they like rock stars or something? And it was just a whole slew of pictures of them. Okay, so to my top two that I really, really love, are two that I'm looking around my wall in my office to see how could I possibly fit this in here, is The Sun and the Moon, or The Sun and Moon by Kayla Croft. This based on a tarot card and the light and the dark of Ray. I've got several pieces in here with Ray, and this would make a nice companion to that. I just love the sharpness of it. I love the darkness to it. The darkness of the card, so it's black around the edges. And then, of course, the dark Ray is on the bottom of the card upside down, but then it really contrasts with Ray Skywalker with her lightsaber, the yellow lightsaber slashing across. Just super, super cool. I just love the look of this one. I also love that I could almost put two hangers on the back of it, and depending on how I'm feeling that day, I could flip that poster right around, and people walk into my office and know exactly how I'm feeling.
What mood you're in today? Yeah.
Check the card, people. Which Ray am I? So I really like that one. That's a really, really cool one. And then the other one, I love a good concert. And so the Max Rebo Live, Kate Carlton, this concert poster live shows Jabba's Palace, and it just is. It's very 60s kind of Woodstock looking, with the coloring and the lettering. And look at those three. Oh, they all crack me up.
You can hear the music, can't you?
Oh yeah,
I can hear. Yes,
That's
definitely
great.
can hear the music. So I just think this is a fun piece. This is the one, probably, I don't know, if I had to go between the tarot card and this one, it'd be a real tough battle for space on my office wall. I don't know. Someone said, just buy one and put it in your office at work. And I'm like, dude, have you not seen my office? It's full too. So anyway, these are super, super cool. And I'm glad you read that introduction to us, Dan, because I'd forgotten that you can buy these at the show, but it's very, very limited. I picked one up. I got an Ahsoka one last year at the show. And you know how I feel about ordering things online. I like to find it. And so these will be pieces that, and I always put it kind of to fate as well. If that Max Rebo band is still available when I'm at the show and on the show floor, you better believe it's going to be in my poster tube. And if I don't, then it wasn't meant to be. And that's kind of how I look at these. But they're beautiful. I love these.
Wow. You both hit on some great ones. I will say one of the standouts for me is also The Sun and the Moon by Kayla Card. I just like the symbolism of it. I think there are certain styles of art that resonate with me. As you said, Cory, art is very personal to people. But this one just looks like a beautiful, like it would be on a playing card, but also it kind of has this almost like a pseudo anime vibe, but also very stoic and powerful. I love that one. One of my favorite ones might be the New Hope Death Star by Jason W. Crispin. I just like his style. I like how it's got some key moments from A New Hope in it. Yeah. I like the silhouettes of the characters and the powerful moments. It's a real stunner. I love Reflective Power by Al Abazia. She says or Al says his daughter Emily came up with the idea, but it's this young woman holding these two like batons, and she's staring into the mirror and she's seeing Ahsoka Tano or Rosario Dawson. She's like imitating her. And I just think there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
Ahsoka has opened up so many doors for so many different people. The Victory and Death by Denny Haas is stunning because it looks so much like a cross between the Clone Wars and Rebels. I just like how everyone is portrayed there. I like the symbolism of I'm not in it for you, Princess, because every section of the Millennium Falcon cockpit has a different moment from their relationship together.
I thought one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just like the symbolism of that. And then the Jundland Waste is super cool because it's got Obi-Wan Kenobi facing off against a probe droid. So,
Yeah.
two of my favorite things. Yeah, so right there. So love those. So those are the ones that jump out to me. They're all exquisite. The talent of these amazing individual artists is just without peer, just tremendous. You can't go wrong with any of them. As I said, there's only going to be 50 available if you don't pre-order them. So you definitely will want to beeline to the art section of Celebration Anaheim and really enjoy all the amazing things that are here.
I want to say too, looking at these online are fantastic. The colors are bright. They all look awesome. But seeing them in person, seeing them on the show floor, like you said, Tom, like, oh man, there's a more appreciation even still, like just to see those in person and see them up close and just blown up to, the right size. Because then the artist thinks they know what size is going to be when they do that artwork. They know what to key in on. They know what details to make, in certain aspects of the art piece they're doing. So it's like to see it, in person, kind of, if you're holding it in your hands, if you're able to do that, then, that's what it's meant to be, right? So I think that's the end goal for the artist, to have you hold it in your hands and display it and take it in, and that's the way it should be. So if you get a chance to just walk around on the show floor, I'd definitely check this out for sure.
Oh man, yeah, it's like being in a museum. I'll never forget when we went to the one in Orlando. It was just like everything was just such a feast.
It is
for the eyes.
It is.
And what I loved in Chicago was the artists are sitting there.
Yep.
And you can have a conversation with them about, the inspiration, the color choices, all of that, which I found to be really satisfying to learn about the piece. Even though I didn't buy most of them, I only got one, but it was cool to hear about them. And I love talking to artists because I have zero talent when it comes to art, but I love looking at art. So that's always a joy for me to be able to actually talk with the artist, which is cool.
And Star Wars is such a visual medium. Anyways, this just lends itself beautifully to the legacy of this amazing franchise. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we return, we're going to give you some celebration tips and tricks. This is Coffee with Kenobi.
This is Vanessa Marshall, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
We are back talking about, of course, Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim at the end of the month. We're very excited to be there and see so many of members of our community, whether you're in the CWK Alliance or whatever the case may be, whether this is the first time you've heard Coffee with Kenobi or you've been a long-time listener, we are happy to have you and help you prep for Star Wars Celebration. Gentlemen, I feel like there are going to be a lot of things we can provide for people to help them, give them some peace of mind to enjoy their experience. Cory, this is going to be your fourth celebration.
Yep.
Tom, your second, so you're no longer a noob, as the kids say. But you understand the fresh anxiety of it being a first time. So let's go ahead and give some suggestions for people, kind of off the cuff. Cory, you're shaking your head. You've got one right.
You've already tipped my hand. The fresh anxiety. Oh my land. The fact that I mean, I'll put it out there. I'm not a big fan of crowds. I'm not a big fan of being, on a time schedule, having to rush around. I'm nervous. We used to talk about those art prints. Like there's a little bit of me that says, like, if I want one of those, I got better go over there and make sure I get one of those. And what, will they be available? And will there's anxiety that builds inside me just personally. That's just, it is. I think a lot of people deal with anxiety. And so I think to deal with that, for me, it's trying to take things one thing at a time and knowing that I might not get to see everything. I might not get to do everything necessarily. And we talked last time on the show about some of the panels. So to me, I kind of like that idea of not being able to get on all the panels, because then I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to have anxiety about that. So I guess my first tip would be take a breath, take it in, and enjoy it for what it is. and don't get overwhelmed. Trying to get anxiety built up, and just have fun. You're there for a reason. There to interact with fans and have a good time. Have a good time. That's what I think is the biggest goal you should get out of this is just enjoy yourself for what it is, and not get bogged down by the anxiety and the rush of that's happening.
An excellent point, an excellent start. And Tom, I noticed you were shaking your head as he was saying that.
Yeah, and that's very close to the advice I was going to start with as well, because that was one thing that really resonated with me that you guys, and I don't remember which one of you said it, in 2019 to me was, don't worry about missing anything, because you might miss something, but there's always something, something is going on all the times, no matter where you are. So yeah, don't become so like hyper focused that I've got to see this, and it's going to be ruined if I don't get to see this. Something better may come along. Mm-hmm. And I think about a time when I was actually taking a break, and I was like, I should be like walking around. I should be here or there. And I haven't been on this part of the floor yet. And I was like, you know what? No, I need a break. And so I was just sort of sitting off to the side. And actually, I think this is when you guys were backstage of the celebration,
Star Wars show,
when I missed all of that. But I'm sitting there and I look over, and it was kind of back in that corner where all the autographs were happening. And walking all by himself, nobody was around him, was Bobby Moynihan. Mm-hmm. And I just sat there and I watched him walking. And then someone came over that he knew, and they just stood there right in front of me and had a great conversation. I don't know what they said, but he was laughing. The other guy was laughing. I was like, I pay money to watch this guy perform. And here he is right in front of me, just talking and being himself. It was really cool. And I was like, should I take a picture? Should I introduce myself? Should I blah, blah, blah? I was like, you know what? Let him be. He's got plenty of people that are going to hound him here in moments. And I'm not going to take a picture. And I'm just going to enjoy this. Mm-hmm. And so don't be afraid. I guess my piece of advice is, don't be afraid to just sort of stop and look around. Give yourself a break. That's probably the advice. Give yourself a break. But keep your eyes open while you're taking that break, because you never know if a star will come by. You never know what awesome cosplay. Dude, the cosplay, holy cow. It is, and sometimes you do just have to stop and kind of watch the cosplay go by, because if you're walking in the same direction someone awesome is walking and they're behind or in front of you, you'll never catch up with them and you'll never see them. So sometimes it's good to take that break for yourself, but then keep your eyes open and see what's going on. It's magnificent.
In that similar vein, I would just say, be at peace with being at peace. Because as you both mentioned very beautifully, look, you're not going to be able to see and do everything. And that's okay. Even like being there for all 4 days,
right?
There's still going to be things that you miss. Every time I leave Celebration, one of the first things I think about is, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. But you let it go, because what did you do? What did you actually do? It's very similar to going on an epic vacation, whether it's the Walt Disney World. And of course, you want to use MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, #shameless plug. Or you go overseas, or whatever you're doing on your vacation, pre-plan ahead, listen to shows like this, other podcasts that you like, plan out things that are must-dos, that are essential, and then things that are a little bit lower on the list, and then have sort of an idea, a very loose idea of, things that you might do in the meantime. And that's what's nice about being able to pre-register for these different feature panels. Because if you don't get them, then that takes care of your schedule. Then you don't have to worry about waiting in line for 4 hours for nothing. Yeah. Think about that. If we don't have this, we can register and hope to be picked for this lottery for the panels. If you don't get it, then you don't have to wait in line for hours and hours for nothing. So that's huge, right? Yeah. So you will have a bit of an idea. And I'm like you, I could let myself get a little anxious if I allowed that to happen.
Sure.
But because I like to have a plan, but I don't want it to be in cement. I want it to be a loose idea. And then if the mood strikes you and you feel like, what, I think I'd rather do this, then be at peace with doing that. And I think you'll be fine. It's really think about how long it's taken for us to get back to Celebration, 3 years.
Yeah.
How because of COVID and health restrictions, which, of course have to happen. We didn't know if we were going to get a chance to get together. For many of us, This will be the first time we be able to say hello to our friends, give them a hug, shake their hand, get a picture with them, whatever. And you're going to get to do that. So to me, that's a win. The fact that Cory's been gone from Illinois, over a year? Has it been
a year? Yeah.
It's been a year. And I haven't got to hang out with you except for one time you surprised me at my house.
Right.
So I'm going to get to hang out with my buddies.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to be ensconced in Star Wars. It's going to be wonderful. It's just going to be wonderful.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned something that was really cool that, there's always something happening. I'm going to challenge. I thought of this while you guys were talking. I'm going to challenge our listeners to do something. I want you to talk to somebody you don't know. I know last time we went, there was a couple times we got divided or didn't get a chance to sit next to each other during a panel or something, and I just sat next to somebody that, I didn't know. And it's easy to strike up a conversation. I mean, you're all there for the same reason in some respects. I remember getting to know people in line, people sitting, waiting for a panel to start, during a panel, and just like going, yes, pumping our fists. I remember during the Mandalorian panel, a guy next to me, we got talking about podcasts and just Star Wars and the sense of what we're expected from this panel because it was brand new. We didn't know what was going on, and we got excited for the conversation was happening on the stage, and kind of kept looking at each other and going, "Oh yeah, this is awesome," and just it's cool to see everybody else getting excited about this too, and the fact that we're all here for the same thing, and that's the young and the old too. I want to say is the fact that like there's so many different types of fans. That's what's unique too. So anybody you get to meet, they might have been a long time as a fan from 1977 all the way till Mandalorian or whatever the case. So it's so unique. I love hearing their story and how they got started in Star Wars or what they're what they do with Star Wars. There's a lot of folks who take their craft to the next level within Star Wars. So it's just you never know who you're going to meet. I know we were talking. I think we got talking about baseball one time. Tom and I waiting in line. Yep. It's just like so. It's not you're not. You don't have to talk about Star Wars. You talk about anything. It's just a matter of just meeting new people and learning who they are and just enjoying the fandom of it. So I guess I challenge listeners to meet somebody new. And I think Tom and I did a lot of that, taking selfies, staying in line, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of memories there. Good memories.
Yeah. I was gonna say that we were in the store line when we talked to the guy, and I don't remember where he was from, but he wanted to go to he wanted to go to Wrigley or Comiskey. I can't remember which one he was going to, but and then there was another time when I was waiting for the show floor to open on I don't know what day, but there were guys on their phones kind of in a circle, and they were all playing Galaxy of Heroes. and I looked over their shoulder and I said, how'd you get that character? And they're like, oh, do you play? And so I got in a conversation with them about Galaxy of Heroes and like strategies and things like that. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, Cory, I love that. I'm going to take that challenge as well. And I'm going to find some people to talk to. Strangers. Ooh.
It's good to get you out of your shell. The first celebration that you went to, I encourage you to be a part of that StarWars.com live stream. It was like, we joked often, it's like I created a monster. You're like, I don't know. Next thing I know, you're up there for hours and hours dressed as one of the Cantina hoodlums hanging out.
That was a blast.
That was so fun.
Yep.
It was a blast.
It was. I'm that's the thing too is. Yeah, I mean, try something new. I mean, just be like Tom mentioned too. Is like you there's moments where you just don't expect. So I mean, I don't say go for it, but just like in a sense of just enjoy yourself, but like realize that like there are things that are going to happen that are going to happen nowhere else but here. And that's the fun part of it. I think it's unique in that way, in that sense.
So is it my turn or is it you, Tom?
Oh, I guess it is. That Cory's challenge was his turn, I suppose.
Yes.
So another tip I would give is if you don't have a good pair of shoes.
Oh, yes. I remember this because you forgot.
Go out this weekend and buy yourself a new pair of walking shoes and break them in. Do not like, before you get on the plane, buy a pair of walking shoes. But I will say this, I lucked out. Do you guys remember we left right from work and I still had my work shoes on. My intent was we ran to my house to get my luggage. I was going to change shoes. Didn't happen. I was so excited. I threw the luggage into the car and I got in and I still had, now granted, they weren't like dress shoes, but they were not what I would have considered walking shoes, but I lucked out because they had inserts in them. Old man here, but they worked out beautifully. But part of that was because they were well broken in. And so make sure that if you don't have a good pair of walking shoes, to get yourself a new pair now. Okay, don't wait, but get them now. Walk in them for the next 3 weeks, really get them worked in, and then you'll be set to go. So that the physical aspect, you don't think of it. I mean, we're not running marathons. We're not, but you know what? Physically, we kind of are, because we're going to be on our feet for hours on end, standing in line, walking around the show floor, you know, maybe even just walking to the car and back. And then on top of the show, just there's a lot going on. I wore a pedometer in Chicago, and it was not uncommon for me. I think my average those 4 days was well up into 15 to 20,000 steps, which is 20,000 is a little less than double my normal day. Usually I'm around 10 to 12,000, but it's definitely a lot more walking than you normally do. So like I said in my first tip, take your breaks, you know, look around, take a moment to soak it all in, but be ready to do some walking. In fact, you can probably, if you start doing a little walking, I noticed, Cory, you started running this week.
I did.
For you,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
But you know, over these next 3 weeks, get some walking in. You know, walk around your block a couple extra times, something like that, to start getting your bodies ready, so that you don't have that sore achiness the next morning when you get up.
Taking care of yourself is a massively important part of this, because
Yep.
no matter what panels you have or whatever you're going to do, if you're not still taking care of yourself, like nutrition wise, drinking plenty of water, making sure you get sleep at night, you're going to have a hard time. So that's a great one. My next one is, look, the panels are great. I'm certainly not going to discourage you from the panels. I'm hosting many of the panels and they're great. They're informative. You'll see a lot of stuff that people post about them when they're there. You're going to get to see some of your favorite Star Wars personalities live and in person, hear them talk. It's really memorable. But don't forget the show floor. Honestly, every time, and I mean every single time I've been to Celebration, the number one thing I always say is, I wish I spent more time on the show floor. That's where you're going to run into the most people. That's where all the great merchandise is. That's where you're going to see a lot of the cosplayers. That's where you're going to see a lot of the people like Hasbro and Sideshow and Lego and all these amazing companies will have all their stuff on display for you to see and experience. New stuff that's not going to come out for a while. A bunch of classic toy booths will be set up. There's so much fun stuff to do on that show floor. Don't sleep on that one, because to me, that is an absolute stone cold highlight. And when I'm telling you what, when I'm not hosting, you will definitely find me on that show floor looking through everything, because I can't get enough of it. And the Anaheim Convention Center is huge. There's going to be plenty of stuff for you to see. Plus, it's 2 or 3 levels anyway. So there's going to be a lot for you to, there's a lot of great feasts for the eyes. Get that phone completely charged up. Bring some spare chargers with you that are fully charged as well, because you're going to take so many pictures and so many great videos that you want to be able to capture all those moments. That's like 3 tips in one.
Are we going to go around one more time?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Sure. So, you know, the other thing I'm going to say that comes to mind for me from last time we went, I would say be respectful. And you talked about, you know, taking care of yourself and, you know, going your own pace, taking breaks. That's respect for yourself, right? I mean, that's respecting yourself and knowing your own pace and knowing what you can do and can't do. And I'm not trying to, I don't know, put it out there that, you know, people are disrespectful. I've never had interaction that's been poor. But like you mentioned, there's interactions around celebrities. There's interactions around other fans, standing in line. You know, everybody is there for a good time, and I've always had a great time chatting and whatnot. I will say that every time we do take a selfie, I will ask first, so is it okay if we take a picture, or is it okay if, hey, for just in the sense of like, I understand they're cosplaying, and that's awesome. I mean, like you said, the cosplaying is bar none the best in the world, and they do great lengths. You would be amazed about screen accuracy, but they also want to take breaks too and take those those things off and rest a while, because it's no fun walking around like that. And the other thing too is be respectful for everybody. Like I said, there's young and old people going. I have 5 children. I know how difficult that can be sometimes. They're not always little angels. So I can understand that, if the mom and dads and the parents out there are tagging along with little kids, they're going to have a little extra hands full. So, do your due diligence of giving them a little space, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm just thinking through the perspective of what I've dealt with my kids, and interactive of people who, fans young and old, that maybe move a little faster, move a little slower, and basically all kinds of folks that will be there, being there for a good time too. And I always try to, look at my space around me too. So I know sometimes there was one year that was the Star Wars show was up on a stage, it was kind of like higher up. You had to look up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And people would crowd around that. You really got really bogged down. You felt like, oh my gosh, people are on top of each other. It felt really busy. And I would kind of like I don't want to be that crowded to me. So I want to step back a little bit and let somebody else, you can have my spot or whatever the case may be. I don't want to be that close to people, but just respectful of space too. I know that we're still dealing with COVID and whatnot. So I think it's an issue. Just be respectful of that space. I know that they put out the folks around, wearing masks and being protected, and obviously, everyone wants to do their diligence to do what's right, and for whatever case may be, and make sure that people are just being respectful, I guess, is what I want to say, is in those veins. So just keep that in mind, and I think you'll find that people will respect that and do it right back to you, and respect your space and who you are. So just keep that in mind.
I love it. That's a very good one.
Especially
nowadays.
I recently read an article online that was, the title of it was something along the lines of what the cosplayers want you to know at conventions. And the top one is what you said, Cory. Just ask. They would love to have their picture taken, but they would like you to ask them out of respect, because and if it looks like they're on break, give them that break. And that was number 2, I think. So yeah, good points. So my next tip is, again, one you guys gave me, that I'm going to share now, because it was a huge tip for me. And that is, when you are packing to go to Celebration, either pack an empty suitcase in your suitcase, or just leave lots of room in there, because you're gonna fill it up. I almost didn't have enough, and then it was going to come down to shipping it back. And since we got a little further to go this time, might end up doing that anyway, but it'd be nice to take some stuff home, and when I arrive home, to open up the suitcase and look what I got, and hand out the presents to my family at that time. But build that space in your suitcase going out, so that you can stuff it full with all the goodies you're going to get on the way home. So I don't know. I don't know why I don't think I would have thought of that when we went to Chicago, but boy, am I glad you guys told me that, because that was there wasn't an inch to spare going home.
That was actually going to be my tip. When you're when you're packing, keep in mind that just with swag alone, and free stuff and stickers and posters and who knows what kind of giveaways there'll be after different panels. There's going to be a lot of stuff you're going to accumulate. In the Hilton Anaheim Convention Center Hotel, there is, I believe, a FedEx in there, so you are able to ship. Cool. It's going to be a little more expensive. The lines are typically very, very long, so keep that in mind, because it's going to be a factor for you as well. Also, I'd like to throw out there, as far as tips go, otherwise, you've got the floor, you've got the panels, you got the merch, you're saying hi to strangers. You're greeting your friends. You might see a Star Wars celebrity somewhere on the floor itself.
Mhm.
But after celebration is over, there are different things going on. We're going to cover those a lot more next week. But I do want to remind you that Thursday, May 26th at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Hilton Anaheim Mix Lounge is the Celebration Podcast Meetup. And again, I really want to emphasize this. Yes, it is for podcasters. If you're a Star Wars podcaster, we like you to come and mingle and meet some of your friends and your mentors and your peers. But it's also for listeners. If you are a Star Wars podcast listener, we want to see you there. I feel like that message kind of got lost for whatever reason. But whether you like Star Wars podcasts or you are a Star Wars podcaster, either way, we want to see you at the Hilton Anaheim
Spread the
Mix
word.
Lounge on Thursday, May 26th. So yes, please spread the word. Many, many, many of your favorite shows are going to be there. And we hope that you will join us too. Any last minute things as we wrap up the show, guys, as far as quick tips?
Yeah,
we are going to do a pour over where we talk about our top celebration snacks. So that's going to happen soon. That'll happen soon.
Well, I was going to say too, is you mentioned freebies and stuff. You know, I know one thing that people think about is price on stuff. And if you cannot, if your budget is your budget, I would suggest that you'll still save room for those freebies, because I came home with more free stuff than I did stuff that I purchased. So it's you do get a ton of stuff as far as just walking around to booths and people handing out stuff, and you're just walking up to people just hand out free stuff. They actually make stuff for this event, so to give out as freebies. I know we've done that over the years as well. So it's crazy to think that, I'm going to go and just go walk around and wander. No, you are going to be engaged, and you'll be, packing your bags and pockets full. So it's always a good time to make sure you've got, I guess another quick tip would be bring a comfortable bag that you can wear on your backpack or purse or whatever have you, whatever is comfortable for you to wear as you pursue, walking around and interacting. So another tip would be a good, comfortable bag.
I love it.
Yep.
How many last minute things?
I can't think of anything at the moment other than what you had said, Dan. Make sure you get lots of sleep. Of all the care, of all the self-care that we do, the one we don't do is the sleep.
Don't do this.
But if you're hydrating and you're eating right and you've prepared yourself, you'll be fine. But yeah, we don't do the sleep part very well.
Well, because of the silliness, because of the foolery.
That'll be a pour over all in itself.
Yes,
that's what I'll say too. If you're not part of Pour Over, consider it, because we've got some fun shows coming up. I know that I want to say Pour Over was came out of the genesis of those, those late nights of yakking and joking and just like, hey, this should be a fun show to talk about, what our favorite foods are, our favorite shows are, stuff that maybe isn't Star Wars related. So this is maybe a little plug for that. Go out and check it out and see if it's right for you.
Yeah, it's for as little as $5 a month. You get access to 4 exclusive podcasts hosted by myself, Tom, and Cory. We talk Star Wars, we talk pop culture, we go behind the scenes. We do a lot of fun things, and it's all because of each of you. And it's important for me to point out that 10% of monthly contributions donated by the CWK Alliance go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. So you get something out of it, but we're able to give back as well. Well, hey, gentlemen, thank you so much for continuing the journey with me on the road to celebration. This is 3 weeks to go. We'll see you next week with more celebration tips, tricks, and hopefully some more reveals about what you can expect at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. Tom, please let everybody know where they can reach out to you and find your stuff online.
Sure. For Star Wars talk, join me on Twitter at Draftline, DRAFTLINE. If you love some good adventure, join me on Teachers in the Dungeon. That's our podcast. You can reach out to us there at Dungeon Teachers on Twitter as well.
And Cory, what about you?
Yeah, I know we've been to a lot of celebrations, but if you got tips for me, I would love to hear them. I'm always up for celebration tips that I don't know or something I hadn't thought of. So find me on Twitter at Cory Clubb, or drop me an email, coryc@coffeewithkenobi.com.
Here. And of course, you know where to find me, Dan Z at coffeewithkenobi.com. Look, as he mentioned, post your celebration tips and tricks in the CWK Cafe, our Facebook group. We would love to learn from you, and hopefully this was something that you enjoyed and was able to alleviate some of your pre-celebration angst, so you can just really enjoy that moment. Again, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with all of you. And remember, this is the podcast you're looking for.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along.